come vape with me. I think I should call this channel Vaping for the over 70s, because in actual fact I started it when I was over 60, but of course now I'm over 70. But anyway, lots of people, young people, write to me and say, do you mind, I'm watching your channel and I'm only 36. I don't mind. This channel is for everybody. It's really for beginner vapors. So I thought today I would just tell you what's in my little box. I've got a box. It's a round box and it has the most beautiful lid. I got it at a junk shop. Isn't that lovely? The sun. And the sun is out today. That's why I'm feeling extra cheery, because we haven't seen the sun here for days and days and days. So what's in my beautiful box? Well, first of all, my box has a big advantage. If I jam the lid down tight, my grandchildren cannot get it off. It fits so tightly that I know if that is in the lounge on the table where I do leave it occasionally, it can drop on the floor unless there's a certain technique to getting the lid off. Otherwise, all the dangerous stuff, of course, is locked away in our flat. We're in a flat. We now live in a flat. We've just moved from a very large house into a flat, and I'm having a hard time fitting into it. So what's in my special box with the sun on the top? Well, first of all, very useful is earbuds. So I have earbuds in my box. Then I have extra atomizers, different kinds of atomizers, some in their boxes, some just in their push-out packs. So they're in my box. So far we have had nothing poisonous, just in case the kids get it open. I've got a torch, and this is a useful torch because at night, if I'm refilling my tanks, and the lounge has got very subtle lighting in it. I love subtle side lights, but then you can't see properly. So I have this torch. There it is, and it's a very useful torch because I can just put it in my mouth. Okay, and then I can fill my tank, and I can see what I'm doing. So my torch is in my box. Then I've got flavors, all sorts of flavors. That's absinthe, which I absolutely love. And then I've got my bottles of mixed plain e-liquid. So now I've got a bottle of zero, and I use that. I have been using it, and I've mixed flavors with it because I've tried a test. I usually vape from at least 3 different tanks, and the reason for that is that if you just vape off one tank, your tongue eventually gets used to the flavor, and after a while you get vapor's tongue and you can't taste the flavor. So this one has got hazelnut in it, which I absolutely love. Hazelnut. Oh, that's lovely. That is a flavoring bought, and I drop a few drops, maybe 4 or 5, in my tank before I add the plain e-liquid. Then I have another tank. This tank has got pineapple in it. Pineapple is absolutely delicious, and I have just finished the bottle of flavoring. But I'm near the town now. I'm living in a town, whereas before I was living in the country and it was hard to get these things. I know I can just pop down on the bus into town and buy another bottle of pineapple flavoring that is not mixed e-liquid. So when I mix in this tank, I put in a few drops of pineapple and fill it up with my plain e-liquid, and my e-liquid is 18 milligrams. Then I have another tank on this little device. This tank has got absinthe in it. Absolutely beautiful. Sometimes this has got absinthe in it, sometimes it's got French vanilla. I change that one quite often, but the reason to do that is every time I vape, my palate gets a surprise, and so that stops me getting Vaper's tongue, and that is when you can't taste a damn thing because your tongue has got used to the flavor. Now, what else can I tell you about my box and what I do? Well, I've just done an experiment. Do you remember, I haven't got it here, but do you remember I was trying to sub-ohm? That was on just plain vegetable glycerine. And I know that I don't get on well with plain vegetable glycerine. It makes me cough. So I swapped it to half vegetable glycerine and half propylene glycol, also no flavoring, and that was quite nice, and I tried for quite a few days to sub-ohm, and I've decided I'm not going to bother. It's too much physical effort, because every time I inhale, or even if I do straight to lung, I end up with a coughing fit. So that's me done. No more sub-ohming. But I tried the same e-liquid that's zero nicotine in my 3 tanks that I vape through the day. And I vaped so much more. I was vaping all day. It didn't satisfy me. So obviously the nicotine in my e-liquid, which is about 18, perhaps a bit less, is important to me. And I'm titrating all day with my little nicotine punch. So my experiment showed me that even though I can go out, I can fly on a plane for 2 hours, I never feel like I have to have a vape like I used to when I was smoking. But even though I feel I'm not craving the nicotine, I am missing it if it's not in my daily vape tanks. So I obviously like the nicotine, and I'm keeping up the nicotine in my bloodstream by vaping during the day. If I go out, if I'm on a plane, even if I'm in the garden, I can be there for hours popping about. Because have you noticed, if you go into the garden to pull one weed out, 3 hours later you come back having done 1,000,000 trillion other things. So I'm never rushing inside to have a puff on my devices. So this craving for nicotine that I used to have when I was smoking was not for the nicotine. The craving, the screaming heebie-jeebies I used to get if I couldn't have a cigarette, wasn't for the nicotine. It was for all the other chemicals that I was getting from the cigarettes. I thought I'd just share that with you this morning, because right now I'm going out into the garden. It's a beautiful sunny day. That's why I'm extra chipper. What's going on in the world is still pissing me off big time, because vapors are being hammered, smokers are being hammered, and it's all wrong, wrong, wrong. I'm going to have a lovely vape with my hazelnut, and then I'm going out into my garden. Thanks for vaping with me.